Hi, welcome to Rad Universe. I'm your host, Rad Universe. How did I become Rad Universe? Where did Rad Universe come from? Well, Rad Universe was a name I had come up with in 2008 as something to describe my passion for the 1980s and the 1990s and all the relics and wonderful television and entertainment that I grew up with. All that was wonderfully preserved in home VHS tapes that preserved these commercials that I adored ever since they were taped. Some of my earliest stuff was from 1986, Saturday morning cartoons, Pee-wee's Playhouse, Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling. Those were my favorite shows when I was 4 years old. And my family had a VCR, and we were recording this stuff off of television. And I just absolutely love the jingles and the nuances of all those, and I've always wanted to do something with that material. And in 2008, I got a VCR to DVD, or VHS to DVD converter for Christmas. My parents gave it to me. And I was really excited about this because the first thing I wanted to do was digitize all of my family home videos. And I did that. I did that over the course of a while, a couple of years I think it took to kind of get through everything. And the thing I was most excited about though was getting through these tapes I used to watch over and over and over as a kid. And to get to experience those commercial breaks and chop them up and learn how to video edit and upload them to YouTube. That's what I wanted to do, and so I needed like something to summarize this passion I had for these old commercials, these old tapes, and at the same time I was like preserving my retro video game collection and getting in a little into VHS as an aesthetic, as a hobby, all of that. It was Rad Universe, and I can tell you a little bit about coming up with the name because I had to think big. I had to think a little outside the box, and like any Xennial that I identify with, a millennial Xennial born in 1982, I wanted something rad. I really wanted to have something that was radical, that was rad like I remembered from being a kid. So I looked at the space for .coms and was looking at things like Rad World, Rad Planet, Rad, place to be. Like, because I was thinking of some kind of amusement park filled with content that was rad. And at the time, it was really about housing those commercials from my tapes as a kid. So I remember looking on GoDaddy for .coms, and I was looking, and I kept going like bigger and bigger, and eventually it was like, well, how about the whole universe? Can I do Rad Universe? And raduniverse.com was available, and I got it, and I did all the social media, and it was December, it was the end of the year 2008. I really had the instinct to just like, everything's Rad Universe. I don't know what this is going to be yet, but let's get it all set up on social media, get the handles, everything's Rad Universe. And when 2009 started, I was incredibly inspired. Started just like taking pictures of my retro video game collection, doing interesting stuff with it, starting to play with this content now that I had digitized it from VHS onto DVD. The next step was then, how do I import this onto my computer? And got this whole process of just like cutting the discs and then getting the clips and then going through and cutting up the clips. And then it was about like really preservation. Every time I uploaded one of these videos to my YouTube channel, which was one of those social media channels that I got in the gold rush of getting Rad Universe everything, I started uploading to that channel. And like little by little, I mean, I had a channel. I mean, not a lot of people were looking at my stuff yet, but as I was going through this, I'm also a musician and make music on my computer and all that. I simultaneously was trying to like do other creative music things at the same time as doing video editing stuff. The two ideas started to come together, and I started seeing sequences from the commercials that I was editing and preserving and archiving on this YouTube channel, and then how to like make music videos with those clips as well, and kind of make it an art form and kind of learn how to video edit playing with this content specifically. So that's exactly what I did. I started making little music videos, and I think the first ones I did in like iMovie. I wasn't even doing Final Cut yet, which I then moved on to. But that's what kind of Rad Universe started as. It started as really a muscle for a YouTube channel. I created like a WordPress website at the beginning. It was very basic. Kind of came up with a logo for Rad Universe that was inspired by the way Rad Racer looks on the Nintendo title screen when you're playing that NES game. And I riffed off of that, and also the film Rad, the BMX movie, and the way that kind of spray painted Rad looked, and another favorite film, Masters of the Universe. I liked the movie poster of that and the way Universe, the typography looked for that. So, and it was all about mashups. I mean, when I was coming on this in 2009, 2010, learning to video edit, and I was just like inspired by all this 80s and 90s TV. Well, actually, first of all, I was very specifically gonna only do 80s. And I remember there was a early subscriber to my channel who actually formed a really great relationship with me. Ferocinator was his original screen name. But it's Philip Gibson. Shout out to Philip Gibson. He has been like there from the very beginning, kind of giving me a little creative nudge push of like what Rad Universe could be. I think he was one of the first people to actually comment to me and say, you know what, it would be cool to see 90s content too, in addition to the 80s. So that was awesome. Like, and he started commenting on all of the videos I was uploading, and it was really motivating to kind of keep doing it. And then he started feeding me little ideas about like, hey, would you do like a mashup of these two things? Because he saw what I was already doing with some of the music video stuff, and taking clips from different sources and putting them together into a different narrative structure, visual narrative structure. And I remember he was like, you know, what about like a Lorimar Rankin Bass mashup, the two logos that appear at the end of a Thundercats episode. This guy's a humongous Thundercats fan, and I remember riffing off the way the music worked as a loop and playing with those images and doing like a stutter cut edit of that, and it was just like, I took it as like, here's this creative opportunity to do something that someone actually asked me to do. I'm learning how to video edit and like play with this like obscure art form and find something new from something pre-existing. That was very, very inspiring to me, and was definitely a driving force for a lot of the early like mashup videos and stuff I did on my channel. And yeah, just like little by little, you know, I also watched kind of the culture change a lot and grow. I mean, I was always Rad Universe from the beginning. Like, it was just gonna be like the place for all things rad, and it could totally like grow, and it was like kind of also a safe place to like experiment, like do stutter cut stuff, because I wasn't like comfortable releasing just random stuff like that as my own self. It had to be like this other entity, and it was this whole aesthetic, and this whole aesthetic was what was, you know, this growing synthwave scenes, growing vaporwave scene, this whole nostalgic Stranger Things, you know, era that we've come to, with fully realizing the nostalgia for that period of time. And for those of us that lived through it or grew up in it, or it, you know, are close relatives of the 1980s and 1990s, you know, pre-internet realities, it's a special place for all of us, and it's something I've seen grow, and little by little, you know, taking requests from the community. I also recognize people started addressing me in messages like as I'm Rad. Rad was always a place. Rad Universe, the Rad Zone, the Rad Planet, you know, the Rad, you know, Jungle Gym. But Rad Universe, you know, generally and gradually, like, became who I was, and I became Rad, and I started signing my name as Rad, and I became Rad Universe. And as I became Rad Universe, you know, I was really following the whole synthwave thing, and really wanted to like take a stab at like, we're gonna just try this synthwave stuff, because like I do lots of other music, like not as Rad Universe, but like this seemed to like fit the brand, and it also just kind of fit this like kind of safe, like I can just kind of do this thing, like, and it doesn't matter. Like it's about learning. It's about just like experimenting, doing something kind of cool. Like this is music that I want to listen to. This is music that I can make all by myself. I can do it. Synthwave is awesome. So like, just doing that, like, and I started out in 2015. Once I finally got to 2015, I mean, just my name, Rad Universe, I was able to grow all the social media channels. The website kept kind of updating, you know, and it means a lot of things. It means like, I'm really into VHS. I have an extensive VHS collection I'll share with you guys. I have a very, you know, extensive retro video game collection. I'm really into the retro video game collecting hobby and all that. And, you know, and I'm, you know, I grew up playing Magic the Gathering and, you know, hanging out with doing the dice and, you know, painting miniatures and stuff like that. Like, I know what's up. So, I don't know, coming at the synthwave music just felt like appropriate. It was just like, this is Rad Universe. This is, you know, the scene has kind of been going this direction. Your name works that way. Discovering artists on SoundCloud since like 2011-ish, 2012. I mean, just like, there's been so much, just like, I was just liking people's music based on their avatar. If it looked like an 80s throwback something or other, like I was following it. And then it just like, all those people I followed just based on like, we had this passion for this, like these images and stuff, the typography, the way it was lit, like back in the 80s, like we all kind of liked that, and we all kind of grew in this community of just like synthwave, vaporwave. I can't even describe just the retro future rad music scene. And like, so anyways, like I've been growing, and then just like 2015, like I had my first kid, and things kind of like shifted, and I wasn't confident with some of the music that I was like, I couldn't like get it to the finish line, and I just like kept trying, and like I was just like so thirsty for like, I want people to hear my music and to like my music and to share my music, but like my perfectionism has like prevented me from just like sharing. And I've held on to a lot of ideas for a while now. I have 2 children now. I've been through a lot over the last years, just in terms of like growing as a human being, becoming an adult, still holding on to this important part of my past of just being a kid in the 80s and what that means for me creatively, and as a place to go to be inspired, like what's always been about. Like, I've kind of had to put some stuff like to the side, but the thing is, I never really put things to the side. I just became more, I just started caring about it more and more and more. Like, I didn't want to just like throw out like hey look, I whipped together like a synthwave track. I can't wait to find like the perfect artwork for it and put it on my SoundCloud and be like, yeah, like check it out. Like, I actually want to like sit with it for a while and add a lot of other layers and bring in some of like the jazz influence and like the metal influence and just like, you know, the stuff I was listening to as a kid, like, you know, grunge, hardcore, black metal. I mean, there's some, and then obviously the soundtracks. I mean, theme songs. I'm all about theme songs. And that's why, you know, when it came to doing mashup videos for my channel, first thing I had to do was the Beverly Hills 90210 theme. Yeah, because this is something that like I actually, in a completely different context, really pushed to do like a really cool version of the Beverly Hills 90210 theme, where I reharmonized the chords and, you know, did funky stuff with it. Anyways, and that was just something I did that was like really cool to me and like the few friends that I shared it with. But it's not something I ever published or posted or did anything with. But as I was starting to learn how to like do video editing and like how to incorporate green screen stuff, like I was like, let's just fuck around in front of the camera and play the Beverly Hills 90210 theme and make a crazy video out of it using 90210 footage. So that's one of the other videos that like I kind of start off with like, okay, now I got my art form together. Now that I've kind of like cut my teeth on doing all these weird like commercial mashups. By the way, one last shout out to Philip Gibson, who gave me the idea to do the Ocean Spray G.I. Joe mashup video I did. That was sort of like my graduating thesis of here's how you do the 80s commercial video mashup. I remember I released sort of a series of 10, like here's Rad Universe number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Each one was exploring like a different idea, different like way of getting rad with the content or recycling or doing something different with it that I didn't think was possible before. So I started doing all of that, and yeah, I mean, just like magic happened. So I did this Rad Universe, you know, 90210 video, and then that led, you know, I was playing in a different band in a different world, and we had a song that's coming out called Supernatural, and I did the music video for Supernatural using all kinds of VHS footage that I had, you know, hand curated. I recorded onto the VHS, the DVD converter, you know, getting all that content, I never really was about downloading stuff from, you know, YouTube or ripping it from other sources. Everything comes from a VHS tape. That's a very important thing to know about like my channel in general. Like all the content that I've archived here for over like the last 10 years, like it all comes from VHS tapes, and I've carefully like, you know, imported and cut it, and I've watermarked all of it, because if anyone's gonna do something kind of creative with it, it's me, because I'm kind of controlling that content, and I'll take the watermark off and do a cool video with it, and then I'll publish that, and it'll kind of be his thing. But if you want to like learn about it on the channel, like I do watermark all of it, and because it's really, I mean, I'm personally very motivated by it because it comes from my childhood, my youth, and it comes from, you know, what the equivalent of like, I mean, a different kind of connection with your interests. I don't know. It's just like you can now like stream an infinite array of like different new ideas all the time. But like, you know, for us, we had recorded specific things, and like sometimes that was like the only thing we had, and we would watch the same thing or listen to the same thing over and over and over again in a different way that we can kind of like endlessly stream now. Like that was just like why so much of this content, these commercials on this channel are really important to me, and why I'm so creatively inspired by them. And then check out my other mashup videos, because like I got to collaborate with some cool synthwave artists like Wave Shaper, got to do his video for Dangerous Love, and then I got in touch with Deaders, who are awesome, and they dug my Beverly Hills 90210 video, and they sent me a bunch of footage that they did kind of with green screen and stuff, and then we did something really rad, and I got to really embrace Rad, the movie, and really go in a cool direction with that video. It was a lot of fun. And here I am now, like I'm really trying to get a record of my synthwave material that I have basically been working on since 2015, since my first kid was born. And I've just been kind of doing this in the lab, like behind the scenes, like trying to brew it all and ready to release it. But I'm not ready to release it. I still gotta sit with it. I gotta learn how to mix it right. I gotta go through a whole like doctor process. Like I've been very creative and very loose with it. A lot of my tracks have been like not labeled correctly. I haven't had names for them. My track listing was a mess. I needed to like color sift and label. Like, these are my sections, the chorus, the pre-chorus, the bridge. Like I have to like get everything organized. And like as I dug deeper and deeper and deeper, I was like, wow, I have so much material. I have so much material that I've tracked. I just not been able to ever share it because I like just want it to be perfect. It may never be perfect, but I'm gonna keep working on it till at least I'm totally stoked about it. And it's gotta be properly mixed and mastered. And I'm just like still tweaking with the compositional elements. I'm still adding different layers and different harmony lines. I approach it very differently. So I don't know. The goal is to have a record out next year, 2020. It's July 2019 right now. I would love July 2020 for this to actually come out like as a full. I'm imagining it as a double LP, because right now I'm really working with 24 tracks, and only 2 of them are tracks I've actually shared. So my first 2 tracks are released on SoundCloud. Night Drive Turbo and Reflection of Paradise. If you haven't heard those yet, definitely go check those out. And then I just kind of stopped, and I've been doing a lot of really, really cool stuff. Like, I'm really, really excited to share with all of you, but I still got some work to do, and along the way, I'm gonna keep rad and keep uploading different relics of just my childhood and youth and commercials that I think are cool for different reasons. And maybe I'll be inspired to do another like mashup video, or if you have ideas for mashup videos, like, I would love to know, because like that really inspired me a long time ago. I've gone on a crazy evolution. But now I'm very interested in just kind of seeing what you guys want to see now that I can kind of reveal a little bit more about what's been going on this whole time. So I'm Rad Universe. I'll be doing this a lot, I promise. It's been really scary just to kind of get to the #1. Oh, jeez. So yeah, we'll be doing this a lot. It's raduniverse.com, and it's Rad Universe. It's Facebook, Rad Universe. It's Twitter, Rad Universe. It's YouTube, Rad Universe. It's Vimeo, Rad Universe. It's SoundCloud, Rad Universe. It's Pinterest, Rad Universe. Check out, I've been interested in the Dead Mall stuff for a while too. I mean, like that, that's hitting, man. Anyways, we'll be chatting more. Just getting started here. Peace.